Hello, Chris T. Ian here, and today I am here to do a quick video talking about my thoughts, my initial impressions on the latest VeggieTales reboot, that is the VeggieTales show, and their first episode, which was released back in October, but I figured it would be more appropriate to save it for this time of the year. Today we're going to talk about the first episode of the VeggieTales show, The Best Christmas Wish. Now, the overall story is it's a retelling of the birth of Jesus, except we're following Junior, the junior shepherd, played by Junior Asparagus, and Junior goes on this trip with the wise men to go see the birth of Jesus. All that's going on, we get this whole behind-the-scenes subplot where Bob the Tomato, who is organizing the whole stage production, wants this show to be spectacular and perfect. And throughout, Bob slowly learns that there's more to Christmas than just your typical theatrics and worldly possessions and material things, as Bob learns that the season of the holidays is really more about giving hope. And this is also a musical. Most of the music is pretty good. It actually does feel like an actual VeggieTales Christmas live show, but animated. In a lot of ways, it actually feels like they took one of those albums, or made an album, and just kind of made an animated story around it. That's actually a good thing. It's actually good to see them going back to their roots, like the trailer that I reacted to a while ago basically posed. That trailer gave me hope that VeggieTales was going to become good again, and I'm happy to say that for the most part, while this is a first episode and it's a little bit rocky, it still actually is very good, and especially, like I've always said, way better than VeggieTales in the House. It is finally going back to basics. In fact, one of the earliest songs is from Archibald, and it's about different Christmas delicacies from around the world, and maybe it's just because this was another Archibald-themed song, but it reminded me a lot of Larry's High Silk Hat from Lyle the Kindly Viking. It reminded me a little bit of that. Except the big joke of the song is that he's giving these different Christmas foods to Jimmy and Jerry Gord, who are typically big eaters and don't really seem all that picky, but they don't really seem to like it. The story itself I thought was good. I thought that they did a good job implementing the character of Junior, the junior shepherd, played by Junior Asparagus, into the story, and I think that it was a good way to do a birth of Jesus story without just having it fall into the basics that everyone is used to. They gave it a new spin, is basically what I'm trying to say, and that's usually what VeggieTales does, and like always, they did a very good job this time around. Animation looks good. It's good to see the designs play out. There's one or two animation errors that people pointed out to me. I actually didn't notice them right off the bat. The voice acting is really good. For the most part, there are a lot of people coming back to do voices and reprise their roles, but Mr. Nezzer is actually played by a different person this time. This time around, Mr. Nezzer is played by David Mann, and at first I was thinking, okay, well this is a new voice actor, and even in the trailer footage they show, he is still played by Phil Vischer, like always. But I actually think that David Mann brought something new to the character, made him sound a little bit more of an actual older gentleman type, and I think that was good for the character. It was an update, but it was actually not a bad update. Especially considering I recognize David Mann, as he pops up in a lot of very popular films that I am a very big fan of, especially one of my favorite films of all time, Medea Goes to Jail. One very minor criticism I do have with the special is that for a first episode, it doesn't really feel like we're given any kind of reintroduction to these characters. We're just kind of thrown into this way, and we're just kind of expected to know. I mean, obviously the VeggieTales fans are going to recognize them, but for the newer audiences, it feels like they might not. And someone explained this to me, that this is actually the second episode that they had made, but they pushed it out first because they wanted to put it out for a Christmas release. So maybe when they get around to releasing the first episode, maybe that'll have more of an introductory feel. Hopefully they don't save that for like the 5th episode release or whatever. Hopefully they have that for the next episode, so that way we have more of a proper introduction for some of the newer viewers who, overall, while it's probably not the best Christmas special this show has put out, it's definitely a good starter point, and hopefully the rest of VeggieTales show stays on this track because it's very promising. Just like the trailer when that dropped a long time ago, there's a lot of promise here, and I really think that they're going to bring VeggieTales back to its roots. So, yes, overall, I enjoyed it, and if you want to see VeggieTales come back, I highly recommend checking it out. But feel free to go check out The Best Christmas Wish. I'm Chris T. Ian, and may Jesus be with you. Wait, that's the wrong direction. I have to walk this way. I mean, VeggieTales is back.